Welcome to Tenacious Entrepreneurs, where perseverance meets purpose and every setback is just another step forward. Join us as we dive into the journeys of entrepreneurs who faced failures, embraced change, and emerged stronger than ever. Whether you're dreaming big or already on your way, this podcast is here to remind you that the end is only the beginning. Stay inspired, stay tenacious, and let's conquer the entrepreneurial world together.
Hey, this is Joseph Dupont with Tenacious Entrepreneur Podcast. Welcome back to the show. Today we've got a special treat. We've got the owner of the television station, Television, that's here with us and able to come in and talk to us about all of the ways that they've gone through struggling getting the television station started and all of the history and this background from that. Thank you so much, Jose, for being here with us. Jose Garcia, guys.
Well, it's truly an honor to be here with you, and I've been watching every single episode, and I hope I don't let you down today.
Well, at least I know if you do, you can edit it out.
Hey, that's a good one. That's a good
so,
one.
brother, tell me a little bit about yourself. Like I know you now, like Television, but I don't really know like the story that got you here. Like did you start off in the television business, or like how did you find yourself in this industry?
That's a good question, because I don't think I ever even dreamed that I was going to be in this position. But with that said, I think I get it from my father. My father was on television, radio, and a great communicator for, all his life. And I think I got it from him,
Okay.
some kind of way.
So my dad was a camera operator for CBS.
Look at that.
And then he traveled with Jimmy Swaggart Ministries and did their camera systems for years. So I've seen a lot of behind the scenes from him. But so take me back to like you started this Television how many years ago?
Actually, it's been 12 years, the whole entire project. But everything started, of course, something small. It was just a vision, a dream first, and then became a vision, because the dream came many years ago. I'm talking about 20, almost 30 years ago. But I never realized that in order for that dream to become a reality, to come to pass, I had to go through a process, learn. But it was back in, I would say, 2009 when I hit like rock bottom with the economy, when everything kind of broke down.
So you were in your 20s, or like
I was in my 30s already. I'm
okay.
52.
Okay, so you're in the 30s.
Yes.
I'm 54. So
yeah,
we're not age shaming you.
Yeah.
Because we're men, but we're okay. But I'm saying it's like you were in your 30s.
Yes. Yes.
And you decided like, hey, it's 2009. It's a downturn. Nobody has any money. Let me start a television station.
Well, not really. Yeah, not quite there like that. But it was just a moment of where I didn't know what was going to happen. Of course, at that time, I had another chapter, married, 3 daughters, and it's like, how can I go and put food on the table? And there was no money. It was like, I was a contractor, been a contractor for many years, since 1998. On my own company.
Yeah.
Very successful, just like anybody, ups and downs. But then I always knew that there was this calling, but I didn't know how to even put it together, kind of start it up and all that stuff, It's just, I knew there was a calling. There was a dream, something that was given, a word that was given by God, but I never knew how to even start it. But there was that moment which, I can share that experience with you and tell you how everything started to be where we are today.
Yeah. Yes, it was at that moment that you said, hey, I want to do it, but then there's a big transition between I want to have a television station to actually starting. You went and bought a camera and just said, hey, I'm a TV station? How did it start?
No, it actually started all like I wanted to teach people more on the music realm. I've been a musician for many years, self-taught. When I say self-taught, it's like I bought literally my guitar, my first guitar when I was like maybe 17 or 18 years old. And literally I had no one to teach me. And at that moment, I knew that something was about to happen with me. And I asked the Lord, the Holy Spirit, teach me, because I don't have anybody to teach me how to play this guitar. I bought this guitar and I want to make sure that I play it, you know?
Yeah,
And I want
yeah.
to play it for you. I want to sing songs and play in church. So fast forwarding, I had that need in deep inside my heart that I wanted to kind of pay it back, you know, and because I knew there was some people that probably went through the same story of mine, where I had nobody to teach me. So I said, you know what, I want to teach. I want to start a music school. So that's kind of how it all started.
Okay, so it started as a music school.
Music school, but then when 2009, 8, and 9 came, that's when the Lord said, you gotta write the vision. You gotta make it clear. In other words, I giving you a word. I giving you something that you were gonna do. When I was 16 years old, I was actually being given a word that I was gonna be playing many instruments, and then I was gonna be kind of like in media, but I didn't understand at that point. I'm 16 years old.
Yeah, right.
And at that moment, it's like, I don't even understand why this person that doesn't know me is giving me this word. I'm kind of laughing deep inside me, you know, thinking, this guy doesn't even know me. He's saying that I'm going to be playing instruments. I'm going to be traveling the world. I'm going to be speaking in front of multitudes and stuff. And I just didn't believe it at that moment. But then as, you know, time started kind of happening, I said, you know what? Maybe God has something for me. And then when I found myself playing the first song with my guitar, that's when the Holy Spirit came and said, remember the word that I gave you when you were 16? This is what's going to happen, you know.
So take us to where you were, like at 16. Were you in America?
I was here. I was here. So I came when I was 16.
You came to America at 16?
Yes. My mom, so we left our country. I'm from Nicaragua, born in Nicaragua, but because of the political thing that was happening, you know, the communism, kind of socialism came to our country, we had to leave. So we had to flee the country.
Okay.
My father actually used to work for the former government and all that stuff, you know, in that radio station that used to be like the voice of Nicaragua. And so he had to also leave. So we all had to leave the country because we've been persecuted.
So you're 16 years old, you come to the country, you had to move to America, and your father, like, did he go into radio? What did he do?
Yeah, so he came to the United States, went to California. He actually got a job, you know, working for the San Francisco Giants. Then also he was the voice of the Oakland Raiders.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
He worked, you know, like all sports. That was his big thing, you know, sports. Baseball is the big thing over there in our country. Then boxing, but of course, you know, basketball, that was something that he also did, and then football. So he was just...
You mean real football? Or
real football. The
like where you
football americano, what we call it football americano in Spanish,
Okay.
you know, but
Okay.
you know, you American football. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he jumped into that. When you came here, you spoke English fluently, or
Nah, not at all. No, it was a struggle.
it was a struggle. So you
Oh,
came in
yeah.
at 16. Did you go to high school?
Yeah,
or-
I went to local high school here, Grayskin. It's no longer Grayskin anymore. But yeah, so
So you went to local high school. You started playing the guitar at 17.
yes.
And you had like a vision for, hey, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. I want to.
Not the rest of my life, you know,
yeah.
because at that moment it's like I don't have a clear vision where I'm going in life,
Yeah.
you know. So I got married when I was literally when I was 23.
Okay.
So I have my first daughter. I got 3 daughters. My first daughter, I was literally 26, 27 years old when she was born.
Okay.
And then the second daughter came, the third daughter. So happily, you know, married, having a family and everything, but I had no clear vision where I'm going, you know. I went to school, I started drafting also, and I'm thinking I'm gonna be this architect. That's all the thing that I had in my mind that I wanted to be.
Right.
But then I found myself like, it's just, this is not for me, you know. So I started working at a restaurant. Then from there, I started my own company in 1998. I was
Okay.
very young.
You're very young.
Yeah. So that's when I actually became an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I started my first business when I was 20, and the problem was I looked like I was 10. Yeah, I just looked so young. I looked maybe 15. So I remember like starting out in business. It's tough if you just getting started. Did you have a mentor? Did you like?
It was more like learning now through other people, not like really mentorship. But there was this guy that actually said, I'm going to teach you. But he was like, he had no time. So he's like, just follow me, just watch me what I'm doing, And I had to just kind of do it. And then when I went into business, I literally told that guy, I said, look, I'm going to start my own company. And he laughed at me. He said, how are you going to start this company when you don't even have tools? And I said, well, I think I have tools. So I went into my car. I didn't even have a truck or anything like that. And I grabbed the hammer that I had and a screwdriver. So on my right hand, I had a hammer, and on the other hand, I had my screwdriver. I said, look, I got tools. He started laughing at me, man, there's no way you're going to. So fast forward a little bit, that same guy that laughed at me, he ended up working for me.
Come on.
For many, many, many years.
That's tremendous.
Yeah, yeah.
That's tremendous.
Yeah.
So I think the hardest part in life to me is the transition. Like whenever you go from, okay, I started my own business and this is great. I'm an entrepreneur now. You start realizing that there's a lot of stress that comes with that and a lot of things that come with it. So how did you transition from being I'm a contractor to, okay, now
television station. I know that's where we want to go. So a successful contractor. Then the economy just went down. Everybody started kind of, losing their houses and vehicles. I actually lost 2 cars. The house was about to be repossessed, going into a foreclosure and all that stuff. And I'm like, what did I do? All my money that I had, I had a lot of money, maybe $70,000+ in capital, and all the money started going down a little bit, because I always thought, okay, January is slow, so maybe February we're gonna pick up, So I started doing remodeling in my own house, and 3 months later, money's gone. I had no money.
You usually get into remodeling. And did you end up keeping the house, or you sold it, or?
It was a miracle. So the bank, because everything went so high, I had this type of a mortgage that, what is called like
a flexible mortgage,
rate, adjustable rate. So it went super high. Then the insurance went high. So I went from a $1,500 to about almost $5,000 mortgage.
Oh my gosh!
Monthly mortgage. So I fell behind so badly that it went to be, almost $40,000+ that I had to come up with, and there was no way to come up with that money. So the bank said, "Hey, we're gonna accelerate, the sale of the house." So I got served, and the sheriff came, knocked on the door, and said, "Hey, look, this is gotta sign this paper, and we're gonna put the house up for auction." And so at that moment, it's like I'm crying, and I'm thinking, "Hey, I've been preaching, I've been telling everybody, trust God, God is gonna come through, but now it's my turn." And it was very tough at that moment. Very tough.
So what ended up happening? Did they sell the house, or?
No. So God came through, and that's when I really started trusting God. So that moment was pivotal in my life, and that's kind of what helped to start what television is. Vision Nola. A lot of people know about that. But television came out later. That's part of the branding.
You're gonna have to drill down a little bit more, brother.
Oh no, of course. There's so many things. Yeah.
I want to drill down to this one point. What you said was God provided. Like you acted like that was flippant. Like it was $40,000, brother.
Almost $50,000.
Did it just came out of the sky?
So we applied. If you remember when everybody was losing their homes and everything, so everybody was like applying for these modification loans, but the banks were so hard. So I applied. I even had somebody that helped me. He paid the lawyer, and the bank will not budge down. It's like, no, we're going to foreclosure. It's already. It's January. I can't remember when was the date, but so it's like I'm crying, and I got my daughters. Like I don't know how to feed them, and it's like we're about to lose the house. My 2 vehicles are completely gone. I don't have vehicles. Now we're gonna be on the streets. So I started praying, and then I remember this brother from church. He said, "Look, just believe in God. Believe, pray, and believe, and just trust God that He's gonna always gonna come on time. He will never be late." So I kind of hang on those words, and I told my daughters, "Look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put the scriptures everywhere in the house. So we're gonna get some sticky notes. We're gonna write all the promises from God, and we're gonna every time that we wake up, we're gonna recite those words, and we're just gonna believe that God is already taking care of our problems." So
you visualized it.
Yeah, we visualized it,
Yeah.
and we started speaking things in existence as if, even though we knew the house was gonna get sold. And then miraculously, I open up the mailbox, and I see this letter. You've been approved. You don't have to pay nothing. We're gonna lower your everything. So everything, it just happened. They stopped everything. So that's when I knew God had my back.
Yeah, because God took care of it.
Yeah.
So I remember in the same time frame, sometime around that 2009, 10, 11, something like that. But I remember I was going through. I'd lost a business, and I was struggling with. We knew that same process. Our house had been served. We had the sheriff saying it's time. We're going to take the property, and I was with my wife trying to figure out, like, okay, we're going to buy a mobile home. Like, what are we going to do? Like, what's the next plan? We get an apartment. Like, we can't qualify for an apartment because our credit's messed up because we lost the house.
All right.
So, like, how do we even transition to something else? And I remember I wasn't nearly as spiritual as you in the fact that I didn't put scriptures all over the house. God somehow took care of it because we got a letter in the mail. I didn't apply for a modification loan. I got a letter in the mail from the bank that said, your house has been moved to a 40-year mortgage. We've modified the loan. We went from whatever it was, $2,800 a month to, I think it was $1,500 or something like that a month that they changed to. And in the envelope was a check. They said, we did this retroactive for the year. They sent me the check for like whatever the amount of money it was. And when I got the check, I endorsed it and sent it back to the bank, and it caught all of my loan up from that moment. It caught everything up, and we even had a little bit left over. But I was like, man, when you see the miraculous hand of God, like that, it's not something that you did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know that it's not in your own ability that you're able to do it. I think that's an encouragement to people that are out there that are in the process right now. I mean, United States, we're not in a great place financially. There's a lot of stuff. I don't know about you, but I talk to restaurant owners every day, and I just talked to one restaurant owner. She said she paid $200 for her delivery of eggs that she normally paid like $50 for.
Wow.
And so like if you go
Tough
to Waffle
times.
House,
Yeah.
it's 50 cents upcharge per egg at Waffle House right now. So I mean, it's a tough time. The economy is still struggling, and I think for people that are out there that may be in the possibility of losing their house, it's our biggest asset. It's what you work your whole life for.
Yeah.
Just trusting God, practical things, write scriptures down.
Yeah.
Of
No,
God's
definitely.
provision. Put it on your walls.
That was the lesson that actually was given to me, to always trust God no matter what.
He's a good God.
He never comes late. He's always on time. And that right there always stuck on my mind until today, that when I see, we all go through ups and downs, valleys and hills and stuff. And I always say, just trust God, trust the process.
Yeah.
He will never forsake you. He will never leave you alone, and he will always take care of you.
I think so. Did you have a close relationship with your father, or with your
No,
dad?
not really. So we didn't grow up with my father. It was my mom that kind of raised us,
Okay.
But my mom
So that's
always,
even tougher because like your understanding of a good father,
oh yeah,
it's not there.
Yeah.
And so having to negotiate that deal to where you start understanding he's a good father.
Correct.
And he
Correct.
actually cares, and he's going to take care of you. And
that's when I
help you.
really, really, really learned how to understand, God goodness, mercy, and that he's always, watching for us. That sometimes we think, that God is not coming through, or, he doesn't have the same blessings that has for somebody else. It's not the same for me. why I'm not seeing the breakthrough so quickly or when we want to. But that's when I learned, to just learn, to stay put and trust. Do not be anxious about anything, and just trust that He's
Just pray
always
that
gonna.
God would take care of it.
Yeah. So in that moment, if I may share,
Yeah.
that's when I sat down. That moment allowed me to kind of go back to the word that was given when I was a teenager, and God said, "Remember the word that I gave you. Now it's time for you to actually start writing it." And once I started writing it, that's when everything started coming, more clearly. So the music school, it was part of it, and I have the notes still, and so the school was part of it. A radio station was part of it. Now television wasn't so clear on it, like a television network or anything like that, but it was part of it in some kind of way, being in the media.
Yeah.
But radio was part of it. It definitely is on the notes, and but at that moment, I just shared that with somebody. It was one guy, and that guy said, "Look, I believe what you're showing me, and I'm gonna be with you. I'm gonna be partner with you." That's when God said, if two of you come in an agreement, I don't need a third, fourth, fifth. I just need another person.
Just come in agreement with you.
Yeah. And then, so he agreed with me. Then I shared that with somebody else. He agreed with me, and then that's when, hey, look, I have a plan.
So did you start that here? Or
Yeah, I started here. So
you rented the building.
So yes, so
you
by
bought your first
faith,
camera.
I rented the first building with nothing, no experience, nothing whatsoever. So that was for 1 year. So I started teaching. Then the second year, that's when the radio came. I opened the radio. I started the whole radio concept and everything. And I got a phone call as we were doing this program one afternoon. I got a phone call. Say, look, you don't know me, but I've been listening to everything that you're saying right now on the radio. And I'm just going to tell you that you're going to start, you're not going to be just on radio, but you're going to be doing TV. And it's not going to be just local. It's going to be internationally. So get ready, because you're going to be in South America, Central and South America, and you're going to be all over the world. Until this day, I don't even know who that person is.
Come on.
No, I'm telling you. And it, like at that moment, like I chuckled. I said, man, I just started with the radio. How am I going to be able to be on TV?
Yeah.
I'm not ready for that. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And then fast forwarding a few months later, I get invited to this meeting, and this guy comes from, I think, from Kansas. I can't remember where he came from. And he called me up. Said, look, I don't know you, but I see that you have some keychains, like full of keys, but I also see a building with many doors and everything. And this is the question that God is asking you. How many stations do you want? Because you're believing that you have a radio station, he said. I don't know you. You don't know me. You have a radio station, but you're about to start TV. But God is asking, how many do you want? Because that is the biggest question.
What did you answer?
I mean, I was in shock. Like, who told this guy? I mean, he's like, this guy, that was his first time in here. Then a month after that, then another preacher came from California, and he called me up. He said the same words. You don't know me, but I have a word from God,
Wow.
And he said, look, you're going to be doing TV, and then someone is going to come to you and he's going to put millions of dollars in your hands, and you're going to have the biggest television network that you ever imagined. And I'm talking about, you might be thinking Christian television, but it's not going to be Christian television. It's going to be mainstream media.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's when I knew exactly, okay, you know what, God, all right. I'm settled. I know.
I know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yes.
I'm going to be in the television business. And so that there's no question, like the excellence that you have about you is amazing. And I've been around you just a little bit, and I've been able to see that everything you put your hand to is excellent. It's not just haphazard or thrown together. Mm-hmm. You have a very methodical way of doing things, and the Lord looks for people, I think, that He can trust, with His money. And in the kingdom of heaven, stewardship is big.
Yes.
And so I think that, with the radio station, God said, okay, I gave you 2 talents. Let me see how you do with this. And then now you got 10 talents. The Lord's turned around and given you back a bunch more.
Yeah.
Walk me through to fast forward, or at least walk me back to when you met your wife now, Alicia.
Yeah, so we met a few years ago when we were doing the music and everything. At that moment, of course, I'm in another chapter, and she's in another chapter.
7 years ago, 2 days ago.
That's probably I would say about 12 or 13 years ago, maybe.
Okay,
Something
so
like that.
about the time when you started this.
Correct.
Okay.
And so it was the way that I met her for the very first time. It was because she had a friend that helped me with one skit that we did. We did a skit for some kids at a church, and she invited her, and that's how we kind of met. But hey, just hey, how you doing? It was nothing,
Yeah.
And then we were just friends. She's singing, I'm playing the guitar and everything. So then, so she's in, she gets married, she has a kid, and then she gets divorced, and then I'm in the middle of getting, separated and divorced as well. Then COVID hit, so it's like I don't know, nobody knows what's happening in my life, So, and then she comes back around and I say, hey, look, I think I need some help at the studio. Would you be interested in teaching some vocal lessons and stuff? Because she's a singer.
Right.
And she said, yeah, I'm down to that, And then that's how we reconnected and everything. So I say one day, hey, look, hey, you want to have some lunch? So we went to have lunch. So we started kind of
Connect,
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how kind of that connection with the next chapter came.
Yeah.
So
I can definitely say that I look at men that are successful, and I can always tell you how successful they're going to be by the way their wife looks at them. Mm-hmm. Not by the way the wife supports them or whatever, but every time I'm around you and Alicia, I see that she looks at you with admiration, and she's always excited to be around. The same thing with my wife. I've been blessed to have an amazing wife.
Yeah, I'm very blessed too. Yes.
Yeah. I think having godly woman in your life is definitely something that can keep you on track. I know it's tough, navigating life.
Yes.
As a Christian businessman, but having the
and
support.
having by your side, next to you,
But not just support, but believing you can do it.
Yes.
Sometimes I look at my wife and I think, man, she believes in me more than I do.
She'll sometimes, believe it or not, I mean, I'm the one with the vision, but then she has learned how to, kind of go so deep into my vision, the vision given by God, of course, that sometimes it amazes me that she comes and say, look, we can do this, we can do that. And like, okay, wow. Hey,
it's great to have somebody that matches your energy.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, so we got to do this, we got to do that. All right, I like that. So hey, come down a little bit. Let me focus on this thing. I know your mind is all over.
Yeah.
But let me focus on this, and then we can tackle that. But it's amazing to have, without a doubt.
He finds a wife, finds a good thing.
Yes.
And he receives inheritance from the Lord. So I think that's a blessing. But
it is.
Brother, I can tell you it's been such a blessing having you here on the show and being able to get to know you a little bit and get to behind the scenes on what's going on here. A lot of people see the studio and they see your life now and they don't realize that you started from nothing.
Oh, it was nothing.
And worked your way through.
So much to share, but of course, time, it's... we are only allowed so many minutes on the show. I thank you so much for that. But maybe another time, I can share a little bit more about.
I would love to, brother. I'd love you to come back on the show and talk to us. I know the guy that actually runs the television station.
Yeah.
We can get you back on.
We're here. If you don't see me in front of the camera, I'm behind the camera.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you so much.
No, thank you.
That's it for this episode of The Tenacious Entrepreneur. Thanks for tuning in and being part of this journey. Are you an entrepreneur with a tenacious story? We want to hear from you. Visit our website, tenaciousentrepreneur.com, and click on the Tell My Story link. If you got something valuable from today's episode, Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with a fellow entrepreneur. Keep pushing forward, and remember, the end is only the beginning. A new episode drops every Wednesday at 7:14 a.m. Until then, remember to stay humble, stay focused, and be tenacious.